Alright, so in this section we're going to take the HTML that we created in the last video and we're going to make it look a lot better using CSS. Alright, so we're going to turn this into this. We won't have any of the animated features or the Lightbox plugin, but we'll have pretty much just a static good looking gallery. Alright, so this navigation is, like I said, going to be generated through JavaScript or through jQuery. So for now what I'm going to do is just create a static copy of it. So if we look at this through Chrome tools, if you're in Chrome and you do F12, we can look at the actual code. If we go over the nav bar, you can see here we have a navigation with the ID of nav bar, and in that we just have our links. Alright, so basically these are just links, so that's what we're going to just create manually right now. And if we click on a link, you can see over here the styling for it, and we'll be doing this section. Alright, so let's just create the links inside of this nav. They don't have to go anywhere. The first one will say all items. Okay, and then we'll have print design. Web design and logo design. Alright, obviously this isn't going to look very good. We haven't styled it yet. Alright, but there's our links. Alright, so now let's go to our styles.css. We have nothing there at all right now. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a reset. And basically what that is I want everything to start out with no margin and no padding. Whether it's a paragraph or a heading or the body itself, everything. So to represent everything we can use the asterisk. And for that we can say margin 0 and padding 0. Alright, so that margins out everything. Next, what we're going to do is what we can call the general styling. Alright, so the body. So in the last chapter, we didn't really have to do this stuff, the body and that, because we were using the boilerplate. In this project, we're starting from scratch, so we do have to do some of this. Okay, so let's define the color of all text on the site. We're going to make it a light gray, I believe. Yeah, almost white. We'll use this hexadecimal value. And then the font, we'll say 14 pixels. I want to use this Sego. I can't really pronounce it. For the font, it's SEGOEUI. Alright, and as a backup, we'll say Arial and sans serif. Alright, so that's our font. The background of the body of everything is going to be a light gray or just gray. And I think that's all we need for the body. Let's make sure that works. Alright, so you can see when I just refreshed it, everything went to a 0 margin and padding. Alright, so usually do that with all my projects. Just because some browsers can add padding that's not identical to other browsers, and then you can just have issues. So just zero it out. Alright, so the links, we'll say A. Actually, we'll just say A. Links, I don't want any underlines. I don't know why you would. And we'll say outline, none. And color, I'm going to put in this hexadecimal 54A6DE. Okay, so next we want, I think that's it for the general styles. So next we'll have custom styling. The first thing we'll put here is our container, which we see a lot of. This one we're going to have width of 70%. I want it a little bit more narrow than usual. Margin is going to be 10 pixels top and bottom, auto on the right and left, and then we'll say overflow auto. Okay, let's see what that does. Alright, looks good. So next, let's do the navigation. Alright, so like I said, right now we just have that static nav bar in there, which is fine for now. So we'll say nav bar. Alright, so we're going to display this as a block. Display block, and we'll give it a height of 40 pixels and a background of black or a dark color here. It's 13181D. See that? Alright. So next thing we want to style is the links in the nav bar. So we can say nav bar A, and first thing we want to do is make them white instead of blue. And we want to display this as an inline block. And the height should be the same as the nav bar, which is 40 pixels. And let's set a line height of 37 pixels. We want it to be nice and even on the top and the bottom. And padding, each link will have 15 pixels on the right and the left. Okay, and then down here we want to style the hover and the active state of the link. So navbar A, actually it's going to be a dot active. The active class will have this. I'm sorry, the active link will have this class of active. Okay, and navbar A hover. Oh, what did I do? Alright, and these are just going to have a slightly lighter background. Whoop, not S's, 3's. Alright, let's see what's going on with it now. Alright, that looks good. You can see that, I'm sorry, it's not slightly lighter, it's darker, it's actually lighter. Alright, good. Now this one, we don't have the active class yet because we haven't done any dynamic JavaScript, but it will work when it's done. Alright, so that's the navigation bar. Now let's do the content. Obviously we want these images to be floated in a horizontal way. So let's see, down here we'll say okay, so we'll do the main area, and we're going to display block. The overflow will be hidden. I don't want any ugly scroll bars. Let's see what else. We want a width of 100% of its container, and then the margin will be auto on the sides, and we're going to set a minimum height because I don't want the footer to float. If we look at the finished one, I don't want this footer to be up here, so I'm giving a minimum height to this main area right here. Okay, so it doesn't move up and down with the different categories. So minimum height of 475 should be good. Alright, now we want to do the list items, which are the pictures. Each list item has a picture. And we want to float left. We'll make the height 96 pixels and set a list style of none, just in case a browser tries to put bullets next to them. And then we'll have a margin of 6 pixels, the position relative to whatever's around it, width will be 125 pixels, and we're going to add a little bit of shadow. If we look at the final website, you can see the shadow. Alright, so I'm just going to paste in some styles for that. Alright, so we just have the Mozilla and the WebKit box shadow, as well as the standard box shadow. Alright, now the UL, the unordered list, needs to have an overflow hidden to hide any scroll bars. So main UL is just going to have overflow hidden. Okay, and we also want to set the code will dynamically set lists that aren't being viewed to hidden. So we need to create a class for that. So main UL dot hidden. Okay, so basically, if the UL has the class of hidden, then it's going to display none. All right, and then finally the footer. Do some quick styling on that. We can just say text align to the center, and the color be black or dark gray, and font size 16 pixels, and then we want it to be bold. And that's it for the CSS. So let's save it, check it out. Alright, that looks good. If we click, we have nothing happens because we haven't implemented anything, any plugins, or not even jQuery itself. If I click on them, nothing happens as well. Alright, so at least we have it styled. In the next section, we'll get into using jQuery and try to get this animation working.